Hello friends. In this module, we will be talking about continuity in filmmaking and the role that sound plays in it. Now, firstly, it is very important to understand that by continuity, we mean the illusion of continuity. Filmmaking is not a continuous process, in that the shots of a particular scene within the narrative film, they are rarely, almost never, shot in the chronological sequence in which they appear in the film. It's like suppose that when we're reading a book, we read from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, like that. And we read the paragraphs according as they are in the book. But during the filmmaking process, it's as if the author of the book did not write these paragraphs in the sequence in which they appear in the book. The chapter 5, the third page might be written before the preface itself. Now, as an illustration, let us watch this clip from the film The Sound of Music.
All right, go inside. Dry off, clean up, change your clothes, report back here. Immediately. Fräulein, you will stay here, please.
I think I'd better go see what Max is up to.
Now, Fräulein. I want a truthful answer from you.
Yes, Captain.
Is it possible? Or could I have just imagined it? Have my children, by any chance, been climbing trees today?
Yes, Captain.
I see. And where, may I ask, did they get these...
Play clothes.
Oh, is that what you call them?
I made them. From the drapes that used to hang in my bedroom.
Drape?
They still had plenty of wear left. The children have been everywhere in them.
Do you mean to tell me that my children have been roaming about Salzburg dressed up in nothing but some old drapes?
Mm-hmm. And having a marvelous time.
They have uniforms.
Oh, straitjackets, if you'll forgive me.
I will not forgive you for that.
Children cannot do all the things they're supposed to do if they have to worry about spoiling their precious clothes.
Yet.
Well, they wouldn't dare. They love you too much. They fear you too much.
I don't wish you to discuss my children in this manner.
Well, you've got to hear from someone. You're never home long enough to know them.
I don't want to hear any more from you about my children.
I know you don't, but you've got to. Now, take Liesel.
You'll not say
You've
one
got
word
a
about
child in law.
Liesel,
One of these
Fräulein.
days you're going to wake up and find she's a woman. You won't even know her. And Friedrich, he's a boy, but he wants to be a man like you, and there's no one to show him how.
Don't you dare tell me about my son.
Brigitte could tell you about him if you'd let her get close to you. She notices everything. And Kurt pretends
Fräulein.
he's tough, not to show how hurt he is when you brush him aside.
That'll do.
The way you do all of them. Louisa, I don't
I
know
said
about
that
yet,
will
but someone
do.
has to find out about her, and the little ones just want to be loved. Oh, please, Captain, love them all.
I don't care to hear anything further from you
I
about
am
my
not
children.
finished yet,
Oh,
Captain.
yes, you are, Captain. Fräulein. Now, you will pack your things this minute.
This clip, how many of us would have guessed that half of this scene was taken in Austria and the other half was taken several months later in Hollywood? Now, this illusion of continuity that we are talking about, this is largely created due to the soundtrack. Why? Because sound is one of the few senses that we have which we perceive continuously. In that, if we want to not see something, we just close our eyes and we don't see it. But we don't have any very easy way of shutting off our sense of hearing. It is a continuous process. We hear whether we want to or not. Now, the funny thing is that it's because of this, the hearing, that it's a continuous process, our mind has developed several psychological filters, so to speak, whereas that whatever we hear which is continuous, which is uninteresting, what we consider to be boring, we sort of psychologically filter it out. We place less importance on it. Now, it is largely because hearing is a continuous process that it is up to the soundtrack to create this illusion of continuity. In that, the shots of a film are juxtaposed together and one may not have a direct relationship to another. But sound acts as a sort of bridge between several shots of the sequence, and the human mind thinks that since the sound is continuous, we hear the same thing over the entire 30 seconds or 1 minute or 2 minutes of the scene, that since the sound is continuous, the entire episode must have happened together in one time at the same place. Now, there are four main parts to the soundtrack of a narrative film. We have dialogues, synchronous sounds, non-synchronous sounds, and the background music track. Now, of these four, the first three, these relate directly to the diegesis, the location, the atmosphere of the scene. And background music plays a very subsidiary role, enhancing the emotion of a scene. So we can tend to ignore that for now. Now, of the remaining three, the dialogues, sync sound and non-sync sound, the dialogues and the sync sounds, these are not really of sufficient duration to establish continuity, in that we can have one cut with dialogue and another cut with dialogue. They can sound the same, but that could be largely a coincidence. With a good microphone in a good room, they could sound the same. It's not enough to establish continuity. And sync sounds, like if I clap my hands, that is such a short duration, it is not enough to link two shots of a scene together. So it depends on the non-synchronous sounds, what we call the ambient sound, the general sound of a location. It could be anything from a plane flying overhead to children playing in a park. It could be general city traffic sound. It could be just about anything, a radio playing in the background. But these are the sounds which give us the illusion of continuity, in that the same sound is repeating, it's continuing over several shots in the scene. Thereby, it's creating the illusion that those 3 or 4 or 5 shots, they are in sequence and they all happen together. It's as if we are just turning our heads, watching this person, watching that person, watching this person, that person. That is actually what a narrative film is all about. As another illustration, let us watch this clip again from The Sound of Music. This time, let us pay attention to the ambience track itself. We can see that it is the ambience alone which is creating this illusion of continuity. And if we had watched it in silent mode, it may have been less effective.
Oh! Whew. Hello! Here I am. I'm from the convent. I'm the new governess, Captain.
And I'm the old butler, Fräulein.
Oh. Well, how do you do?
Now, having established that it is the ambience of the soundtrack which creates this, or helps to create this illusion of continuity, this actually places a great burden on the sound recordist and makes the sound recordist's job very, very difficult. Why? Because like we said in the beginning, the filmmaking process is not continuous. The shots themselves are taken out of order and on different days, on different months, in different locations. Now, how can we expect the ambience of the location itself to be similar or let alone the same? So as far as the filmmaking process, the sound recording process is concerned, what should be actually done is that the dialogues should be recorded as clearly as possible without any or as little as the local ambience at the time as we can possibly get. So we should use lapel microphones, boom microphones, getting the dialogues as clearly as possible. Without any synchronous effects, whether it's the snapping of fingers or tapping a table. These also should be recorded as minimally as possible. Why? Because if the dialogues are recorded loud enough meaning if there's sufficient separation between the dialogues and anything else in the soundtrack, then after the editing of the film is done, we can layer the soundtrack with our own ambience, a continuous ambience, thereby creating the illusion of continuity. It will sort of act like glue between the different shots of the scene, and it will layer it to seem as if it was all one continuous event. So what is actually done is that for an an outdoor shoot, we record, say, about 10, 15 minutes, or sometimes even a half an hour, depending on the location, of what we call just ambience. Just the ambience of that location at different times of the day, in the morning, evening, afternoon. And we just record that and keep it in stock. Thereby, we have, if we take it over a duration of time, we have different aspects of the location. We might have some children playing, the school bell ringing in the background, maybe a fire engine, office traffic. So we have, if we take it over a length of time, we have different aspects of that location, and we can use that appropriately in our scene. Now, as far as indoor sound is concerned, as in indoor ambience is concerned, we sometimes tend to think that since the inside of a house, it is largely silent, as we consider to be silent, then as far as the as far as the film soundtrack is concerned, it's not so important. But actually, that is absolutely not true. Each room, each location, whether it's indoor or outdoor, especially indoor, it has a certain tone of its own. In fact, it's called room tone. What we perceive to be silence is not actually silence. There could be a very soft sound of a fan in the next room, or an air conditioner, or any kind of just the general rumble of outdoor traffic sound filtering inside. So, in fact, the human mind is not able to perceive silence. If we were to sit in a really anechoic chamber with absolute silence, we would not be able to tolerate it for more than 30 seconds or a minute at most. Our ears would ring intolerably, and we would have to leave. We wouldn't be able to tolerate it. So this room tone is different for different rooms. Say within our own house, our bedroom would sound different from our drawing room, definitely different from the kitchen or the bathroom. Each room has a different tone, a texture, a sonic texture. In fact, we call it room tone. It has a definite characteristic of its own. And the human mind can actually perceive this. So even when we are speaking, if we close our eyes, we can sort of describe what kind of room we are in. Are we in a bathroom where there's a lot of reverberation, echo, or are we in a kitchen, or are we in a bedroom with lots of furniture? These play a lot of importance. These are very important within the room tone. So these also, after the recording, the shooting of a location sound, which is indoor, then we should record about a minute or to 2 minutes of the room tone of that location, of that set. So that would serve as our ambience after in the audio post-production, after the editing is done. Now, earlier, we had talked about how the background music of a film's soundtrack does not really play a very substantial role in establishing the continuity of a scene. But it took a filmmaker like Alfred Hitchcock to show us that no, the background music can play a very dominant role in establishing continuity. As an example, let's take the shower sequence from the film Psycho. Now, if we watch this without sound, the camera angles, the jump cuts stand out a bit, and sometimes they defy film grammar. So having seen this sequence without sound, some of the camera angles, the editing, they may appear to us as flaws or at least grammatically incorrect. Now let us watch the same sequence with sound, and we'll see that the soundtrack, the music of the soundtrack, it blankets the whole scene together and creates just one gigantic entity which could be, which is incomprehensible. It hides, it overshadows all of the film grammar as we know it, the camera angles, jump cuts, everything together, and it creates a gigantic entity by itself, almost as if 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. So we can see that the soundtrack of a film plays a great role in establishing the illusion of continuity within the film. But at the same time, this places a great responsibility, a great problem for the sound recordist. Why? Because since the human perception of sound is a continuous phenomenon, we develop certain subconscious filters to filter out those sounds which we consider to be repetitious, continuous, and boring. Now, until the electronic equipment, the audio recording equipment is developed which can simulate these human filters, the importance of the sound recordist will remain.